They follow a lot of a range of themes with both on the ground with the people in a societal sense, an environmental sense, and sort of a big picture humanity sense. And I thought it gives you a chance to understand the story with a good sense of depth and range. And I thought the piece were grown capturing. It was obviously a very beautiful piece to watch, but I thought that the themes and the ideas were deep and serious. And I thought that the central characters and narrators were very invested in their work and very passionate about what they were doing in terms of the African rainforest and the involvement with the elephants and the involvement with the natural ecosystem and habitat that allowed you to sort of both be involved emotionally and have an informative experience as well. So I thought it was a well constructed piece.
This idea that climate change is changing how certain fruits grow, and in change that affects how elephants are able to survive and what they can eat and what they can't eat, and basically how they're starved into infiltrating human territory and like looking for food there. And kind of just seeing the chain of events of how the unfortunate effects of climate change that humans have caused is affecting all other living organisms in the ecosystem is insane. I kind of also really like the overall idea that like one small ecosystem, if you can fix like even small patches, can make a huge difference in our overall ecosystem. So I thought that was really great. I really liked combining the two stories of like, you know, the two scientist creators from the Netherlands with the man from Gabon. I think it was really cool to kind of see both of their stories and then eventually their stories intertwine when like both of their causes come together to try and make something great, you know, help out the park rangers to make sure that you know you can protect the elephants from poachers, and you can keep track of like how many elephants there are and keep track of like the fruit and just like who's going where and what at a faster rate, because you know they were talking about how like the 4 weeks at a time is just not enough to really make a difference. So I think that was really interesting. I loved the interview portions of it all. I loved really being in it. I loved, you know, the shots like in the rainforest. I liked how we were very present. We saw the process of them creating the devices that were, you know, like the camera devices to help the rangers so that make their job a lot easier, a lot quicker, a lot more efficient.
The natural idea is, or the natural kind of links are, we've had so much growth and everything else, and the consequence was that like nature has suffered. So I don't think that when people hear about conserving and they hear about you know trying to save animals, trying to save ecosystems, trying to save forests, I don't think that the natural thought is to link technology, because I think that there is an unconscious link for most people between the industries that have grown so much in the last several decades and the downfall that our planet has taken in that same amount of time in the last several decades. And I think that people naturally link those two things together. I don't think it's a conscious thing. I think it's very unconscious. And I don't even think, I don't know how correct that would be, but I think that that's what people do. And so when you're approaching these kind of ideas of like, okay, how do we save these forests, elephants, how do we save this forest in general, because if a huge massive part of their ecosystem goes, like the elephants, then like what the whole ecosystem is going to break down and it's going to change and it's not going to be the same. So I think that like marrying that with technology is such an
Elephants, you can't pick a better subject matter, like literally, because they're, I mean, arguably top two and not two animals to ever exist. So, um, shout out to elephants and shout out to y'all for, making a documentary featuring elephants. But also, the idea of like what I liked about this is like breaking down the consequences, like the elephant's role in the fight against climate change, as far as like if the elephants go, the rainforest goes, and that sets us back. Like really breaking down that clear line, I think made it crystal clear, at least to me, what's at stake in this fight. And I think also I like the idea of using code and technology to give us an edge wherever we can find it in that fight. So overall, great documentary, great filmmaking, great subject matter.
it's kind of like a good one to see, like with in terms of information, in terms of the topic that they tackle, and the footages that they use in this one. I feel like it's relevant and it's important to see, like to understand like the topic. It's well edited. It didn't feel like it's too overwhelmed by like the scientific knowledge or like by the observations, but it's also like well balanced, like balanced out within this web series as well.